Okay, today is April 30th, 2020, and I'm reading on Ivanka's crimes and if they'll be exposed and if she faces prosecution. Because she's been involved, long involved in going over, sorry, I gotta shift. And going overseas and doing business. Business. You know, to do with money laundering. I know of one special one that she did, I think it was in Dubai. But too numerous to list at this point. But I do believe that, okay, honestly, as I'm shuffling, I do believe she will get held accountable. And I do believe she does face prosecution. But let's look and see what the cards have to say. We ask the ancestors. We ask Spirit of Truth and Justice. We ask the Spirit of the Tarot to help me to give a clear and accurate reading on whether or not Ivanka gets held accountable for her crimes and if she gets prosecuted for her crimes. Now, I can't tell you when. I know that people ask when. This one, it's really hard with the tarot to get, and I know that sounds like a weak answer, but it's not. The tarot and timing, I've never known very many people that have been great all the time with being able to it can be, because what looks like clearly right away can sometimes be right away, but can also be down the line. Time is looked at very differently. So I think actually the better of the question, since we really want to know if she'll be prosecuted and if they'll go over her crimes and if she'll be held accountable. And hopefully, you know, it wouldn't be like too long. And I don't think it will be. I think this family's in big trouble, whether they know it or not. And I think they kind of know it. That's why they're trying to maintain power. But we're talking about Ivanka. And we're talking about, does Ivanka get held accountable for her crimes and prosecuted? And we'd like to know, does that look near future or further out? I think that's the closest with cards that we can get. So let's just try that, okay? Does Ivanka get prosecuted for her crimes? And does she face going to prison? Prosecuted for her crimes. Let's look at that. Ivanka and her crimes. She'd like to come off like she's some sort of squeaky clean, I don't know what you mean, Barbie. But she, like the rest of her family, are frauds. She just tries to use her appeal while she can to her advantage. her looks. I don't personally think she's all that pretty, but that's not the question here. Does she face prosecution for her crimes soon? Sooner rather than later, does she face prosecution for her crimes, Ivanka? This is going to be the present here, and this will be the future. Or I could do, let's do a Celtic cross. What the heck? Okay. What covers her atmosphere is the Hanged Man. Is it, I think, a delay in justice? A delay in a lot of things. Delay in intelligence. Anyway. What is crossing her with regard to being prosecuted for her crimes is the Knight of Wands. Okay. I feel like putting it that way. Basis card, the Emperor. Daddy dearest. Dum Dum Dunny. But it could also be represent the authority of the government. Let's just see how the cards play out. There's Ivanka showing up in her own reading. Good. We know we're tracking. Of course she crowns herself. Of course. Her overseas stuff is what really is concerning her. That's going to be looked at. Now, I think they've managed to delay something there. I do think she'll have to pay the price with doing time. Just a hit there I got, but you know what? Let's keep going. Look, more theft. This is typically the card, really a card of theft and of illicit activity. That is in her near future. So she's still, of course, still up to no good illicit activity overseas, and she's been energetic in going about it. And this is going to come back to bite her in the butt, because this is in a position of challenge. So I'm wondering if that's like, hey, that's going to bite you in the ass, sweetie. Lollipop head. I'm sorry. She does have a head like a lollipop. Anyway, yeah, I looking at her, I think she's going to know something's over. There's just, for her, it's going to be over. OVER for this family. And their period of time that they had and how they've lived before they got in office and after they swindled their way into office is over. In the environment, people want a return, I think, of decency. There's also something about children. So I don't know if any of her money, if she's going to try to shift it off into her kids' accounts or something like that, if this is what that is. But this is in the environment. In the environment. And it has to do with children or memories or past. Hopes and fears, 10 of Wands. She fears doing a long stretch in prison. She also fears having to perhaps do time for stuff that wasn't all and wouldn't have been all of her doing. This is kind of sometimes other people's responsibility put on your shoulders to deal with. And if something goes up with her dad, and it will, Ivanka is going to be having to tap dance as fast as her little legs can take her, because she's going to have to try to steer the ship of what's left of their business and prepare herself for her own trouble legally and help her dad. Ace of Cups. There's a lot of emotion. The final end result is I think she does get held to account. I do think she does. It comes spilled. There's going to be tea spilled. That's what I just got. Somebody's going to be like talking a lot. Information's going to get leaked. And really, some of that information won't even have to be leaked, because she's just done things pretty recklessly right out in the open, counting on not getting caught, counting on being able to not be questioned about it or flagged for it. But them days are over. I really do believe, I do declare. Yeah, especially money. Business deals that where there's money that is being, I think, like laundered through real estate and things like this. Where, in this instance, with the Three of Pentacles, more than one person involved in that business deal. I see two women coming for her. Could be like the Attorney General and I do see the Pelosi card there too, so I just don't want to always keep going to Pelosi, but I do feel like there will be, she will be, and I think there are women significant with regard to her being prosecuted for her crimes. And there may be two women that work on that. She's just not going to like the way things are, that she's going to have to abandon her life as she's known it. I see a depression. Maybe a little excess in the drinking area to escape. She wants to escape. Of course she does. They all do. But she's waiting. She's going nowhere. And I think it's possible she could be like just waiting for an opportunity to leave. To figure out how to go into hiding, do a runner, not have to deal with any of it. Oh, darn, sorry. Okay. 10 of Cups, Ace of Wands. Now, she's going to get in trouble. And I see the people will be greatly satisfied by this fact. And I see expect from her, because we have to remember, as much as we know that this family has lived in a very luxuriant bubble at the expense of other people for generations, that has really detached them from reality. Now, when that bubble gets pierced, how they respond is going to be interesting. I see a lot of anger, and I also see energy, however, to deal with this unrealistic lifestyle. That's what I feel like here. She wants to go away and try and be somewhere else where she can still have some of her dreams, live out some of her dreams. But there's anger, I think, because she can't do that. And look, there's the Nine of Swords. She is dealing with nightmares. She can't get away, okay? It's interrupting her sleep, giving her bad dreams. There is a great deal of anxiety. And I just think, especially where Jared is probably concerned. Also. And maybe the fact that if this is indicative of Vladimir, because often the King of Cups can be him, because he's got that Scorpio moon. It could be that something will be going down with him, and she won't be able to look to that source for help anymore. Yeah, she's on her own. She's going to have to try to defend herself and be in a very defensive position with regard to a large sum of money, a lot of money, lots of money issues and matters that add up. She is hopeful. Well, actually, no. I see the populace as being hopeful that she will, as a high-profile person, I believe, get a sentence that she deserves. I see this as a lengthy process, folks. But just get your popcorn and your healthy snacks, maybe a few that aren't so healthy, and get ready, because there's just going to be a deluge of cases and information that will, as these become active, will come out. And I see businesses, I see us learning more about their relationships. I think maybe her relationship with her husband and what kind of situation that is. Partnerships with business, who, we already kind of know who they've done business with because they make it obvious they favor them. But she's going to be still continuing to hope that she's going to escape somehow to better circumstances, but that's not what's going to happen. She's going to have to walk through the valley of her crimes. Her dad, delusional, and deal with his delusionality and the confusion about his choices. None of them are very well equipped to deal with life. They're not objective thinkers because they're so used to living in a world of fantasy and whim. So yes, I do see her not getting away with and running off, and she will be held and have to stay and be held accountable. But it's a more lengthy process. So I hope that will answer your question to a degree of satisfaction. I don't think she's going to get left off the hook. Let's just look at prison time, because it looks like it's a lengthy involvement. In investigating all her crimes. Ivanka and a prison cell. Do they go together very well? I think they do. Will Ivanka end up serving time in prison for her crimes? Will Ivanka end up serving prison time? I get a yes, but Will Ivanka end up serving prison time? Will Ivanka Trump end up serving prison time? Okay. I think so. She's been being watched. Her stuff will be gone over by, darn it, I'm sorry I keep doing that, by law. The law is interested in looking at her, not just looking, but investigating her. This is going to cause her a great deal of stress that she did not want. And I do think that with this 4 here, it is a lack of activity regarding her being able to go and live and do what she wanted. And I think that brings peace of mind to a lot of other people. The thing is, it's a lengthy period of time. It's a lengthy period of time, too. This, unless she gets hospitalized for nerves. But I really think that she might have to be. But I think it doesn't make this go away. Justice is there. Justice has been looking. And into her marriage, into her business dealings with other people, into partnerships, partnership schemes and plans, I think that are fraudulent. There's her, my money! Somebody spilling the tea about the money, somebody spilling tea about investments. Yeah, look at that. And this has been something that's been going on for a while. It's almost like, hey, all your efforts are corrupt. Yes, they are. They still hold on to this delusion that they're going to somehow keep their family money, keep their family aesthetic lifestyle, and I just don't see it. It's like, no, you better go get some actual skills if you want to live that lifestyle anymore. I believe she will end up making license plates. Again, she's not going to escape this. I do think it has a lengthy, possibly, time where she's having to answer to an investigation. And I do think that she will end up in the clink. I do think she will end up there. Okay. So, gonna leave that there. But so far what's really standing out is how torturous it's going to be for her to go through this lengthy prosecution. It's going to be what ages her. It's going to be what weighs her down. She's not going to live like she did before. And that is going to drive her nuts. She's not going to have that anymore. And I will look at her on another time psychologically of how that affects her, because I see it affecting her psychologically a great deal. All right, so that is Melania Trump by request, and whether or not she faces prosecution and be exposed. Yes, she will, and yes, she'll be prosecuted. When? It's going to take some time. It will be a lengthy, to me, it looks like, process of... but they'll do it. They'll expose what she's been up to. You'll hear more about what she's been up to. So I do think that will happen. Okay? Thank you. See you in the next video and on to the next request.